Welcome to what may be one of your toughest courses at Creighton, if feedback from past students is to be believed. Yet, it is also a foundational course for your dissertation journey. Welcome to ILD804, Organizational Theory and Behavior. I'm Dr. Brett Watwood, your instructor for the next 8 weeks. I spent 22 years in the Navy, retiring as a commander. Then I got my doctorate at the University of Nebraska and spent another 20 years in higher education. I'm recording this from my back deck at my home in Chester, Virginia. Our world is reeling right now from the dual impacts of a pandemic and social justice, and leadership is more critical now than any time of our past. The theory behind how organizations function is critical for leadership, and in the coming 6 weeks, you'll dive deeply into some of the classic literature covering organizational behavior. Then in the final 2 weeks, you'll pull it all together for your particular situation. As I said, you'll be diving deeply into some of the classic literature, but you'll also be finding some and sharing with your classmates. And this ability to analyze and really break apart research literature is going to be critical for your dissertation literature review. When you look at a research article, you got to ask questions like, what is the methodology? What are the variables? How does this study fit into the larger realm of leadership literature? And what are the implications of this article, not only on future research, but your own situation? So let's jump into an overview of this course. I want to spend a few minutes exploring the layout of this course, the readings and analyses you'll be doing, and discuss next steps and ways to contact me. We will be using Robbins and Judge's Essentials of Organizational Behavior 14th edition. The 13th edition is acceptable if you can get it at a reduced price. There is a flow to this course, but the last 2 weeks are significantly different from the first 6. This is a writing-intensive course. During the first 6 weeks, you will be reading background material in our textbook and then reading from 2 to 4 articles, writing an 1,800 to 2,000 word analysis, which will contain a brief conceptual overview of the articles, what the articles contribute to the notion of leadership, and a detailed analysis of each article's research methods, variables studied, strengths and limitations, and implications for both future research and your own practice. Note that the paper you write does not require you to outline the readings from Robbins and Judge, but that reading may factor into your thoughts on strengths, limitations, and implications. During the first 3 weeks, we will explore what organizational behavior is, how one understands both themselves and others, and decision-making. As you can see, there is background reading from the textbook, and then a series of articles located in the Creighton Electronic Library, which you will access through Blue Line using the course password. In weeks 2 and 3, you pick 2 articles from those listed, and starting in week 3, you go out and find a relevant research article from within the past 10 years to share in the discussions and analyze in your paper. Note my use of the word research. If you pull an article from Newsweek or the Chronicle of Higher Education, or really any journal that does not provide the details on the methodology, the participants, the variable studies, your article will not be accepted. This is building the skills you will need when developing the literature review for your dissertation. Weeks 4, 5, and 6 are similar, and again, background reading from the textbook, and then choices of articles I provide as well as articles you provide. Note in weeks 5 and 6, you'll be analyzing a total of 4 articles those weeks, 2 that I provide and 2 that you provide. The syllabus provides a sample article analysis paper of about 1,800 words. In weeks 1 through 6, you will provide a table of variables each week within that paper. Note that in this example from the syllabus, it notes the authors of the articles, the independent variables, the mediating variables, if any, the moderating variables, if any, and the dependent variables. If you see independent and dependent variables, then we know we're discussing either a quantitative study or a mixed method study. If one looks at a qualitative study, by definition, there are no variables, so you simply note that in your table. To understand research, you have to understand variables, and that'll be a big part of this course. In this example, we're looking at relationships between intelligence and earning potential. The hypothesis may be that higher intelligence is correlated with higher earning potential. But within the study, there are also moderating and mediating variables. So let's define each. The independent variable is the presumed cause. All other variables that may impact the dependent variable are controlled. The values of the independent variable are under experimental control. In this study, you're measuring intelligence, and that is the independent variable. The dependent variable is the presumed effect of the experimental study. The values of the dependent variable depend on another variable, the independent variable. In another example, if you open a faucet, the independent variable, the quantity of water flowing, which is the dependent variable, changes in response. In this study, as the value of intelligence changes, you would expect to see an impact on the dependent variable, earning potential. Mediating variables explains a relationship or provides a causal link between the variables. In this example, the statistical association between intelligence and earning potential needs to be explained because just having intelligence does not make one earn more. Other variables intervene between having smarts and making money. People with higher degrees tend to get better jobs than those with lower degrees, so academic achievement is a mediating variable. And finally, there may be moderating variables. Moderating variables influence but don't necessarily explain why a relationship exists. In our effort, level of effort can have an impact, but doesn't necessarily explain the relationship between intelligence and earning potential. So you'll be looking at articles every week and figuring out what the variables are and reporting those in a table. In week 7, you will use the skills you have developed to put together a concept paper suggesting an organizational behavior intervention for your organization. And finally, in week 8, you'll reflect on what you're taking forward into the program and into your work from this course. So to recap, you'll be doing article syntheses in weeks 1 through 6, a concept paper in week 7, weekly discussions in lessons learned in weeks 1 through 6, no discussion in week 7, and finally no paper but a discussion to wrap up the course in week 8. You'll be conducting this course online using Blue Line Course Management System, but it'd be wrong to visualize this course as a one-on-one engagement between you and me, the instructor. This class is your cohort for this course, and probably many other courses, so continue building community through our weekly discussions and support each other in completing this course. So what's next? During this first week, introduce yourselves to me and each other in the student lounge. You may have had other courses together and already know each other, but this is the first time with me, so these introductions are important. We are an interdisciplinary group, and each of us can learn from the other. Check out how to access the weekly readings and make sure you have the textbook. Then dig into the readings. By Friday, you will post your initial discussion posts, commenting to others through Sunday, and by Sunday evening, you'll submit your first article synthesis paper. I should have them graded and back to you by Wednesday. And that's the course in a nutshell. My job is to help you to be successful in this course. If you need to contact me, you can message me in Blue Line, email me, or text or call me on my cell phone. I'm here for you for the next 8 weeks, and I'm looking forward to working with you and getting to know each of you better.